This is John Black, Super Chemist. This is part 3. So, after about a week of this happening, now they pull me out of my cell. They put me in this little tiny room all by myself, and they leave. And guess who walks in? You'll never believe it. The 6'5" or 6'6" big, healthy Marine type dude that spit on me like I was scum, and he was the greatest thing in the world because he was for America and I was just a piece of garbage that was just. And it was him. And he came over, jacked me up against the wall, literally picked me up off of the floor. I mean, this guy, I'm a small guy and he's a giant, you know what I mean? Picks me off the floor a couple inches where I'm like on my tippy toes pretty much, and has me against the wall, and he says, look, you need to shut up, okay? If you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to make sure that you spend the rest of your life in prison. You will die in prison. I guarantee it. And when you get there, people get you, and they're going to get you, and you'll be lucky to survive any length of time in prison. Do you understand? And of course, I'm not retarded. I say, yes, I understand, of course. I gotta shut my mouth. Obviously, I'm not retarded. So he sets me down, leaves, and the cops come in to take me back to my cell. So I wait, a couple hours. So I'm not retarded. And I actually might even wait until the next day, okay? And so anyways, after a period of time where I know this guy is out of the building, he's out of the police building, because he's a highway patrol or state police or whatever. He's not a city cop like these guys, that are jailing, their offices. So he's not going to stay there forever. So when I know he's left, or the next day, one or the other, because I know it's the next day he's left, jailer comes by, I jump up on a thing, I got myself a new little tune, a new little jig that I could sing and dance to. Yeah, and this jig goes, I am 100% sure I know who took my stuff. It's no longer that I'm going to get people in trouble and I'm going to get you investigated. I can go on and take a lie detector test, and I can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt who stole my stuff now. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yes, I'm a piece of garbage, and who would believe me? Well, guess what? I can take a lie detector test now. Because I could take a lie detector test before and say someone stole my stuff, so what? That just means they're going to add more. I just confessed to having more crap. They're just going to put me, they're going to say, okay, well, here, we'll charge you with that gun too, then, and we'll charge you with this. Well, the truth is, they can't charge you with, I could say they stole £1 million. That doesn't mean they can charge me with £1 million. If they don't have it in evidence, they can't charge you with it. Yes, I am kind of saying that if they stole the 3 ounces, I'm admitting that I had the 4th ounce, right? And if they stole 1 gun, I'm admitting that I had 2 guns and they stole 1, right? So I am kind of admitting it, and a lot of people say, why didn't they take you into court and just say, hey, why didn't they have a plan in there? First of all, this is a little dink town. They don't do stuff like that. Stuff on TV is over exaggerated. I've only met a few people who've had their phones bugged, and one was Ray that was in this jail, and the other ones are relatives that were in organized crime. If you're not in organized crime, I don't see anyone being bugged. These things are just on TV. The police department does not have $1 billion to spend on stuff, you know what I mean? But anyways, me jumping up on the bars, doing flips, doing jigs, and singing it. I wasn't really actually talking, I was actually singing most of the time. And doing a little jig. I'm climbing on the bars like a monkey. I don't sound like a very credible witness. Meaning, if they taped me doing that, they put a VCR camera in there and taped me, and they're going to take it into court. Look, he's saying that we stole his stuff. So, first of all, they don't want me going in. They don't want to have any evidence saying they stole stuff. Number one. Okay, they're not going to want that because they're all stealing stuff. So none of them are going to want that. okay? But number two is, even if they didn't care, which they did, um, I'm not credible. I mean, if you have a witness that is climbing on the bars like a monkey, singing and chanting, and doing little jigs and acting all crazy and shit, it doesn't matter what he's saying. His words are not credible. All right. And one of the things, like, I got to pick, you get to pick whether you have a jury or you have a judge, okay? And I picked a judge for a certain reason. Everything I did was for a reason. Like, I picked a judge over a jury, and what's funny is I lost, okay? And the reason I did that was because statistically, if you're going for a loophole, you really want a judge over a jury, unless it's a sympathy thing. Okay, and since I was being charged with guns and drugs, the jury would not have any sympathy for me. They'd actually go the other way. A judge would be more apt to dismiss all the charges, because and suppress the evidence, because it's the law. You know what I mean? And jurors just don't care about the law sometimes. You know what I mean? So if I was going for sympathy, jury would be great, because they don't care about the law sometimes. They'll let you off just on sympathy. But being a drug dealer, in the court's eyes, jury ain't gonna have no sympathy. They're the worst thing I want. I want a judge that's gonna be, logical and, follow the law. Because then you don't get to pick your judge, you know what I mean? They gave me a judge, and I asked around. He was the wrong judge, man. Even my attorney was like, "Oh, dude, you're screwed now. This is the wrong judge." Because I don't want a judge who goes to the letter of the law, okay? And this judge that I got was like, he was more into, hey, well, the law's the law, but you're guilty, so whatever. You're going to jail. I got one of those guys, right? But in that state, you're allowed to fire, believe it or not, and I learned this during this trial, you're allowed to fire your judge for no reason whatsoever. And then you can still fire him again if you want, but you'd have to have a reason, you know what I mean? But for no reason at all, you can fire your judge. So that was the one thing that my attorney did that I didn't know about, that he helped me out on, because I did not know that. And I knew I was screwed when I heard the judge, because I had all the judges' names down and who they, because this was a big town, there weren't many, and how they acted in court, you know what I mean? And this was the worst. He was the worst out of all of them, you know what I mean? Anyways, we fired him, and the best judge that I could have got, that I really wanted, you know what I mean? And I was so sad I didn't get him when I got that other judge. But when we fired the worst possible judge, the next judge that they gave me, and this was it, I couldn't fire him unless I had a good reason. There ain't no good reason, really, He was the one I wanted. He was the best one for the job that I needed him to do. So I got lucky there. That was, total luck. But now, I can get under a lie detector and say, someone jacked me up against the wall and someone threatened me, and they told me that if I don't shut up about this stuff being stolen, so obviously it was them. They didn't say it was them, but who does that? Who does that? Who pulls you out of the cell, puts you in a private room, and then is the only one there, jacks you up against the wall and says, I'm going to make sure you do life if you don't shut up about that stuff being stolen. Obviously they did it. They just confessed to me, and now I can do a lie detector test. It doesn't matter if I'm scum, you morons. You're fucking so stupid. And they'd laugh as they walk by. You're a crazy motherfucker, dude. Oh my. And everyone in the thing would be laughing at me, all the cons or whatever. You're such a dumbass, man. They're going to end up charging you with more shit, man. They're just going to charge you with that stuff, man. You're like confessing. You can't confess to it. That's like you automatically are getting, you can't confess, man. You should be happy. They took it away. You're so stupid. We're all going to jail together, man. We're all going to go down. They have you dead left, right. They got the shit right on you, man. Guns, a gun, and a fucking bunch of coke and some pot, man. You're definitely going down. There's no doubt, man. But everybody laughed and had a good time. I'll give that. I'll tell you, there's one time, every time I'm in jail, man, I swear to God, I always get my cellie or my bunkmate, depending on how the cells are set up, uh, is usually a murderer. But this guy here, people, I couldn't even count how many murderers I know on my fingers. I'd have to use my fingers and toes to count them up. But this guy is one of two people that really stand out above them all, man. They make the other ones look like nothing. He was a gangbanger. And, when we would go to court, plus I read in the papers about him. I read about a couple people in jail now. Ray, he was a crack dealer. They caught him, they tapped his phones, which is unusual. He must have been doing a lot of shit to be getting your phones tapped. He's in the paper, but this guy here was even bigger than him. He made him look like nothing. What he was charged with was murder and attempted murder. They say that he allegedly murdered someone, and he either wanted to murder both of them, two people, and one of them got away, or else he almost killed the second person, and they put him in the hospital. So then he goes to the hospital, and I can't remember now. This guy's either a witness, or else he's, one of the people he wanted to kill him the first, when he killed the first guy, he wanted to kill him, and he only maimed him, you know what I mean? I can't remember. Either way, he goes to the hospital and tries to kill him again. So this guy's obviously fucking serious about his fucking, shit, man. When we would go over to court, you're not allowed to have guns in the courtroom. That's not permitted. I've never seen that. I think it's against the law, man. But they would have people, snipers up on the roof. We had to go outside for about maybe, 80 feet, 100 feet to get to the courthouse. And they'd always have us chained up, obviously. But they would have him doubly chained, everything chained on him, double. They'd have snipers up on the roof, on both roofs, and they would have everyone had guns inside the courtroom. I mean, they were serious about this dude. Anyways, I get off the subject here. So anyways, where was I at? They took my mail and my attorney and my phone calls away from me. My plea was 40 years at that time, which meant it's pretty much life, which is why it was laughable that a cop was going to jack me up against a wall and threaten me with life, since life meant 15 years and 40 years meant 13 years. That's not much of a threat. It's like, are you serious? They're the same thing, dude. But anyways, so it's been about a week, and he jacks me up against the wall, threatens me. Now a week, my new dance and chant is that I'm saying that I can take a polygraph now. Now you're really screwed. Before it was, there was a chance that, I call up internal affairs and they're just going to laugh at me. That would, there's a big possibility that would happen, and millions would be investigated. You know what I mean? Without any proof, I'm just a con, you know what I mean? But now I can take a polygraph. So far there are three things that made this case work for me. First one was not trusting my attorney. I took over everything and made him do what I wanted, not what he wanted. You know what I mean? I went and I found out who stole my shit. Number two, my attorney knowing that you could fire a judge for no reason in that state. That was pivotal. If I didn't do that, there was a good chance I probably would have lost. I still could have won too, though, but you never know. I had a 100% chance of winning with the judge I had. Did not have a 100% chance of winning with this other judge. So that was, and I didn't know that you could fire a judge in that state, because that's not common. I've never heard of that. And number three, don't miss part 4.